Hey everyone, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at something absolutely fascinating. We're talking about the deeply pleasant, entirely natural, and highly effective world of South Indian hair preservation. And honestly, our core mission today is pretty simple. We want to share this incredibly rich knowledge because, at the end of the day, we are happier when we are healthy and when we're surrounded by a healthy, thriving society. By the end of this, you are going to have this gorgeous, holistic toolkit to protect your roots and completely elevate your daily routine. So let's get started.
Okay, let's dive into this. To fix a problem, we kind of have to play detective first, right? Hair loss is rarely just one single issue. It's usually a combination of hidden factors, all working together to weaken your hair. So, before we get into all the lush, vibrant cures, we need to unmask the unavoidable everyday culprits that are silently sabotaging your scalp. Let's figure out what's really going on.
So, the absolute main culprit for a bald head? Genetics. Scientifically, it's known as androgenetic alopecia. If your parents or grandparents experience thinning hair, you might just be genetically predisposed to it. The biological mechanism here involves a hormone called DHT. Basically, if your body is highly sensitive to it, DHT slowly shrinks your hair follicles over time. It literally squeezes them until they just give up and stop producing hair entirely. But hey, don't panic. While we obviously can't change your DNA, genetics is just one piece of this giant puzzle.
Now, think of your body as this brilliant machine. Nutritional deficiencies, they're essentially your body's early warning system. Your hair is often the very first thing to suffer when you're lacking vital nutrients. For instance, if you're missing iron, you could develop anemia, which is a massive trigger for hair fall, especially in women. Low vitamin D, that is linked directly to alopecia. B12 and zinc are absolutely non-negotiable for tissue growth and repair. And remember, your hair is quite literally made of a protein called keratin. If your diet lacks protein, your hair doesn't have the building blocks it needs, so it becomes weak, brittle, and prone to snapping.
Beyond what's happening inside our bodies, we're battling harsh modern elements on the outside every single day. First up, hard water. It is loaded with calcium and magnesium, which literally builds up a layer of soap scum right on your scalp. This blocks your follicles, dries everything out, and accelerates breakage. Then we have our daily chemical shampoos, products loaded with sulfates and parabens. These aggressively strip away your scalp's natural oils. And what happens next? Well, your scalp either completely overcompensates by producing extreme amounts of oil, or it turns super dry and flaky. Both of those outcomes severely weaken your roots.
And, we absolutely cannot talk about modern life without talking about stress. When you experience high stress, your body releases a flood of cortisol. This hormone acts as a massive shock to your system. Now, it's a perfectly normal biological process for hair follicles to occasionally enter a resting phase, but stress literally forces all of them into it at the exact same time. Then, usually about 3 months after that high-stress event, you experience what is called telogen effluvium. It's a sudden and massive shedding of hair. It is incredibly frustrating, I know, but understanding that biological trigger is the first step to taking back control. Okay, we've identified the culprits, so let's shift gears and look at the cures.
Section 1. The baseline defense, shielding your roots. So establishing basic, comforting health protocols is our first step, and these foundational steps are incredibly practical. First, combat that hard water by keeping your scalp clean using a shower filter, or honestly, just use filtered RO water for your final rinse. Second, handle your hair like delicate silk. Squeeze it dry, never rub vigorously, and avoid tight hairstyles that just pull and cause traction alopecia. Third, build that inner defense. Eat protein-rich foods like eggs, fish, and lentils. Load up on spinach for iron, and grab some nuts for omega-3s. And finally, if you're seeing a distinctly receding hairline due to genetic balding, definitely don't hesitate to consult a dermatologist for scientifically proven medical interventions like topical minoxidil or oral finasteride.
Section 2. The Ancient Arsenal. Vibrant South Indian Secrets.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we transition from the clinical side of things to the deeply traditional. The absolute cornerstone of pleasant, holistic South Indian hair care is N-night Kuliyal, which is the Sunday oil bath. And this isn't just a quick wash before work. No, it is a deeply relaxing, traditional weekend ritual. In many South Indian families, taking the time to medicate and oil the hair on Saturdays or Sundays is this cherished practice. It cools the entire body system and dramatically improves blood circulation right at the roots. Let's walk through this spa-like ritual together because it is so incredibly soothing. Step 1, you take your medicated oil and warm it just slightly. Step 2, you gently massage it into your scalp for a dedicated 5 to 10 minutes. That physical massage is absolutely crucial because it brings a rush of vital blood circulation directly to the follicles.
Finally, step 3. You leave it on for at least 30 minutes, or if you want the maximum benefit, you rest with it overnight before washing it out the next morning.
But what oils are we actually using here? Well, these aren't your standard grocery store vegetable oils. We're talking about powerful natural medicines. First is sesame, or gingelly oil. It's a darker oil that penetrates incredibly deeply into the scalp, and it's famous for preventing premature graying and hair fall. Next is amla oil. Amla is a total vitamin C powerhouse. By boiling dried amla pieces in coconut oil, you create this brilliant tonic that just fortifies your roots. And then there's Bhringraj oil, known locally as Karasalankani. In Ayurveda, this herb literally translates to the ruler of hair. It is considered one of the most potent, active botanicals for regrowing hair and stopping baldness in its tracks.
And this brilliantly illustrates a deep philosophical difference in how we wash our hair. Commercial shampoos use harsh chemicals with a high pH that completely obliterate your natural oils. Traditional South Indian hair care, it avoids those entirely. Instead, they utilize herbal washes with a low pH. These are mild, natural cleansers that perfectly walk the line of removing daily dirt while gracefully retaining the scalp's essential protective oils.
Two of the absolute stars of this herbal washing method are Shikakai, which, by the way, beautifully translates to fruit for the hair, and soapnut. The preparation for this is wonderfully earthy and engaging. You take these natural pods, soak them in water overnight, and grind them down into a paste. When you use them, they create this gentle, restorative, natural lather that cleanses your hair without any of that modern chemical harshness we just talked about. Moving beyond just washing, we have these incredibly colorful, nutrient-dense scalp pastes. Imagine the vibrant, bright red of fresh hibiscus flowers and leaves. When you grind them together, often with shikakai, they act as an unmatched natural conditioner that actively stops hair fall. Then there's fenugreek. You soak the seeds overnight and grind them up to fight off dandruff and physically strengthen the hair shaft. And my personal favorite, dark, aromatic curry leaves. When you boil them in coconut oil until they turn black, you create an elixir that revitalizes the roots and restores your hair's natural pigment. It's honestly a completely lush sensory experience. But hey, true vitality doesn't just come from what you put on your head, right? It comes from within. South Indian dietary traditions perfectly complement these external treatments. So, don't just push the curry leaves to the side of your plate. Eating a few fresh curry leaves every morning, maybe in some buttermilk, strengthens those follicles from the inside out. Eating one fresh amla daily or drinking its juice just floods your system with nutrients. And just a simple spoonful of white sesame seeds provides crucial dietary calcium and magnesium, which actively fights against the weakening effects we talked about earlier.
Section 3. The ultimate herbal routine. Bringing it all together.
So the crucial point is, we have covered a lot of vibrant ground today. Here is your beautiful, holistic routine. It is incredibly empowering. Twice a week, treat yourself to a scalp massage with warm sesame or Bhringraj oil. Every day, make sure your diet includes fresh curry leaves and amla. When it's time to wash, ditch those harsh commercial bottles and replace your chemical shampoo with a shikakai or hibiscus paste. And lastly, always, always protect against hard water by doing your final rinse with filtered water or water treated with a little bit of potash alum. You can literally start this today.
Now, as much as we love these wonderful traditions, I do want to leave you with a very reassuring but responsible medical note. These natural, colorful remedies are absolutely excellent for maintenance, for improving scalp health, and for tackling mild hair loss. However, if your hair is falling out in dramatic clumps, or if distinct bald patches are suddenly appearing out of nowhere, please go see a trichologist or a dermatologist. Severe genetic balding or underlying medical conditions usually require a doctor's intervention. And you know what? That is perfectly okay.
And that brings us to the most important part of this entire explainer, you and the people you care about. We are truly, deeply happy only when we are healthy and when the people around us are thriving too. By sharing this knowledge, we lift each other up. So please like, share, and subscribe to this channel so we can continue to build a healthier, happier, and much more vibrant society together. Share these beautiful, colorful traditions with your friends and your family. I'll leave you with this thought. Knowing everything we've just uncovered, what small, vibrant tradition are you going to add to your routine this Sunday?